The Russians never enslaved black people. They never sold them or stole from their homes. FFK, welcome to the news, and please subscribe to our channel. To get notified when we post hot juicy news updates, please click on the notification bell. Femi Fani-Kayode FFK, a former Minister of Aviation, was on his social media platforms this evening to write a long essay about the conflict between Russia and Ukraine and the players involved. The topic of the essay Fani-Kayode posted on the social media platform is Russia. Know the truth and let it set you free. Fani-Kayode has made it known several on his platform that he supports Russia in the ongoing conflict. So today he decided to teach some history lesson by remembering people about Russia and the role they have been playing globally over the years. Fani-Kayode said people that choose to talk about the conflict in Ukraine should get their facts right before delving into it, and they should not repeat the one-sided story that the international media has been feeding the public. He said any student of history will know that Russia was never the villain when it comes to the barbarity committed against sovereign state. Fani-Kayode said he would never blame Russia for defending its territories. He said Nazi Germany, Adolf Hitler, and the French people under Napoleon learned the hard way that Russia can never be conquered. He said America is also about to learn that lesson too. Fani-Kayode post reads: if you insist on talking or writing about the war in the Ukraine, kindly get your facts right and do not repeat the one-sided, subjective and monotonous claptrap and fairy tales that CNN and other international media networks are continuously churning out. Any student of modern history will tell you that Russians were never the valiant when it comes to acts of barbarity committed against sovereign nation states and against the oppressed people of the world. That notorious title goes to the Americans, the Western European nations, and their allies. More than any other nation on earth, the Russians supported the liberation struggle of African, South American, Southeast Asian, and the Third World countries, and fought against colonialism, neocolonialism, imperialism, apartheid, and racial and religious suppression and bigotry. Quite apart from that, kindly consider the following. The Russians never enslaved black people. They never stole from them and their homes, took them from their land, sold them as chattel, or regarded them as nothing more than 1/4 of a human being. They never used black babies as fishing bait for alligators or described them as gator meat. They never threw hundreds of thousands of black people into the sea as they transported them on slave ships from Africa to the West Indies and America. They never acquired colonies all over the world where they stole and plundered the mineral resources and treasure of their subjects and destroyed their future and destinies. They never indulged in neocolonialism. They never enslaved the nations of the Third World by saddling them with massive debt which can hardly be ever paid off. They never caused the death of 20 million people in World War I. They never caused the death of 50 million people in World War II. They never dropped nuclear bombs on Japanese cities, murdering hundreds and thousands of innocent civilians in the process and poisoning the land. They never bombed hundreds of thousands of Iraqi civilians to death and starved to death over 500,000 Iraq children. They never bombed the beautiful city of Belgrade and slaughtered hundreds of thousands of Serbians. They never wiped out the Red Indians of the Western Paris of North America, and they have never herded the few that were left alive into horrendous concentration camps which they described as reservation and where they turned them to drunkards and alcoholics. They never decimated and destroyed the black aborigines of Australia and the native indigenous Indians of Canada. They never flooded China with opium and other lethal drugs, turning millions of Chinese men, women and children into helpless and feeble drug addicts. They never stole massive tracts of land from the sovereign nation of Mexico at gunpoint. They never gassed 6 million Jews to death. They never butchered and committed genocide against millions of Armenians. They never flooded the black ghettos of major US cities with urine in order to turn the local black population into docile, feeble, and weak-minded drug addicts. They never claimed to be masters of the world or members of the Aryan race. They never sought to subjugate the Palestinians and strip them of their dignity and humanity. They never killed hundreds of thousands of Yemenis. They never attempted to conquer Vietnam. They never attempted to conquer Korea. They never destroyed Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, or Libya. They never sought to impose a new world order. They never set up, established, and funded Al-Qaeda, ISIS, Boko Haram, Al-Shabaab, and other Islamic armies and terrorist organizations. They never imposed unelected puppet rulers, bloodthirsty monarchs, and ruthless regimes throughout the Arab world that have suppressed and killed their own people. They never wiped out and exterminated the black population in Argentina. They never killed foreign presidents and head of state and toppled foreign government. They never encouraged, funded, and supported vicious and brutal leaders and military dictators. They never wiped out the American Black Panthers, killed John F. Kennedy, murdered Martin Luther King, butchered Malcolm X, and slaughtered too many others. I could go on and on. It was not the Russia that killed Patrice Lumumba. It was not the Russian that killed Muammar Gaddafi. It was not the Russian that killed Kwame Nkrumah. It was not the Russian that killed Salvador Allende. It was not the Russian that killed Thomas Sankara. It was not the Russians that killed Samora Michael. It was not the Russians that killed Pastor Bizimungu. It was not the Russians that killed Gamal Abdel Nasser. It was not the Russian that killed Murtala Mohammed. It was not the Russian that killed Tafawa Balewa. It was not the Russian that killed Sani Abacha. It was not the Russian that killed MK Abiola. It was not the Russian that killed Saddam Hussein. In all those cases, we know who it was that used their local agents, their several surrogates, and their murderous associates to murder these leaders. The others to do so came directly from Uncle Sam and those who are now baying for Vladimir Putin's blood and attempting to establish a new world order. I will never condemn Mother Russia in her attempt to defend herself and protect her borders from the expansionist and hegemonist agenda of the Americans and NATO because she is perfectly within her rights to do so. Again, I will never condemn her because I am conversant with world history and I'm fully aware of the massive provocation and hideous injustice that Vladimir Putin and the Russian people have been subjected to over the years. Both Nazi Germany under Adolf Hitler and the French people under Napoleon Bonaparte learned the hard way that Russia can never be conquered. You know I love history. I really love it. On this note, we have come to the end of the news. We say thank you for tuning in to listen. Until I come your way next time, enjoy the rest of your day.